Hey, hi, very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our free Python certification program. In this video, we are going to talk about advanced data types such as list, set, tuples, and dictionary. Now, before we dive into today's video, let's have a quick recap on what we have covered yesterday. We have started our functions. So we have seen what is a function. It is a block of code which takes some arguments as input, performs certain computations, and return as an output. And we have seen various different types of functions. We have user-defined function, inbuilt function, we have lambda function and recursive function, right? We have gone in depth or in detail with user-defined function and inbuilt function. So what is a user-defined function? It is a function where a user is defining the logic of the function, and then we can call the function. Then what is the inbuilt function, Nasser? The inbuilt function is a function where the logic has already been predefined. We are just calling the function. All right. So today we will be dealing with respect to advanced data types. Advanced data types such as list, tuples, set, and as well as dictionary. Okay, so first let's have a read on the definitions. Then we will try to understand this data types, and then we will come back to the definitions once more. Okay, so first we have list. What is a list? See, in a simple terms, if I say list is nothing but it is ordered collection of data which is mutable, that means changeable, and duplicates are allowed in a list. Okay, what is list? It's an ordered collection of data which is mutable and duplicates are allowed. Then what is a tuple? Tuple is also an ordered collection of data, but it is immutable by nature. That's the major difference here. Immutable. That means unchangeable. Okay, we will deal with all of these terms one by one. And then we have duplicates. Here duplicates are allowed. And then what is set? Set is unordered collection of data, it is mutable, and duplicates are not allowed. Okay, and dictionary, it is unordered, mutable, and duplicates are not allowed in key value pair. Right, sir, not clear. Can you just explain me in more detail? Okay, so let's take terminology by terminology. Let's break these things down and we will try to understand these things in very detail. Okay, let me clear the screen. Now, before we get into those terminologies, these are the major four things which we will be looking into for all of those four data types. List, set, tuple, and dictionary. We will be looking how do we create it, how do we access the element, how is it possible to add the elements, and how is it possible to remove the elements from the data structures or data types. Okay. Now, so before we get into those things, we need to understand few terminologies, right? When I'm saying ordered, mutable, and duplicates are allowed, right? We will try to understand those things. See, what is ordered and unordered, right? See, it's very simple. When I say ordered, it is stored in the way we give. Now, when I'm saying A is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm creating a list. Okay, now this goes and sits in the memory in the exact order the way it has been created. Okay, then Nasir, what is unordered? The unordered is something where it does not matter the what sequence we give it. It just goes and sits in the random fashion. Okay, now it is not exactly random fashion, it is using some hash table behind, but for now we can just consider it as unordered storage. Okay, so ordered is going to be stored in the exact way I give, and unordered is something which is stored in the random way. Okay. So it's not totally random, but for now we will consider that, right? Now, let's see next thing. Let's take mutable and immutable. Okay. Now, sir, what is mutable and what is immutable? Great. So, see, mutable is something where once I've declared the variable, I can again change it. Okay, so that is mutable. So once I'm declared, it is taking some memory location in the memory and it is saving. Okay, once I have declared this, I will again be able to change this element. I'll be able to add things in it. I'll be able to remove things from it, or I'll be able to totally change the element without changing the variable which I'm using. Okay, so this is nothing but mutable. Right. Then what is immutable? Once I have declared a variable, okay, immutable. I cannot change it. I cannot add anything into that. I cannot remove anything from that. That is immutable. That's not possible. Okay, we cannot add, nor we cannot remove. Once it is changed, once it is made, it is fixed. Okay, so this is the major difference between mutable and immutable. Right. Now, let's look into duplicates allowed and not allowed. So here we can see in a list, when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, here you can see 1 and 3 has been repeated, right? 1 and 3 has been repeated. So it is allowing to store us the duplicates. We can have multiple duplicates. Duplicates are not allowed. Here you can see duplicates are not allowed. So even if it is 1, 3, it will not consider this. Duplicates are not allowed. Okay. Now, let's try to see index. Okay, this is also one of the very important aspect, because if we want to access the elements, when I'm talking about accessing the elements of the data types, okay, how do I access the elements of the list? How do I access the element of set? How do I access the element of tuple? Okay, so set is something which is unordered, so for that index does not come. So index always is in action whenever I'm talking about ordered set of data. Remember this, very important. Okay, and the index value starts from 0. So for example, let's consider we have an element which we are storing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 3. I think this we have already seen. Now, what it does is it assigns the index value from 0. Okay, so as you can see here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now whenever I'm accessing this particular element, I can just make use of index 0 to access that particular element. Okay, so indexing is really important in accessing of the elements. All right, now let's move to the next topic. So we will be dealing with list in detail. Right. So what is a list? Again, list is nothing but it is ordered collection of data. That means whatever the sequence we are giving in, it is storing in that particular sequence. It is mutable. Once we have created, we can change it, and duplicates are allowed. Right. So once we have created, the element can have multiple same numbers within it. Okay. Duplicates are allowed. Now, so first thing we will be looking into creation. How do we create a list? We can create a list with the help of square brackets, or we can also make use of the function, inbuilt function, that is list function. Okay, so there are two ways to create a list. We can make use of square bracket, or we can also make use of list function. All right, it is storing in this way. Right, now the types of data permitted in list are, right. So what are all the different data we can define in a list? Because list is what? It is a collection of elements. It is a collection of data. That means we can have different data types within the list itself. What are all the data types? So it supports all the basic and as well as advanced data types. Okay, list supports all the basic and as well as advanced data types. Okay, now like this, what we are going to do is we are going to look into the creation of all the different elements, like list, how do we create? Tuple, how do we create? Okay, set, how do we create? And dictionary. And so basically, if I want to create a list, I have to go with a square bracket. If I want to create a list with the help of function, go with the list function. If I want to create a list with the help of brackets or this, both the list is going to be same. All right. Now let's talk about tuple. How are we going to create a tuple? See, tuple is created with the help of parenthesis, or we can make use of tuple function. Okay. So, okay, this is tuple only. We have to just check this out. Okay, we will check this out when we are working on the scripting part. And then when I'm talking about set, we can just go with the flower brackets. Okay, whenever we are talking about set, we can go with the flower brackets, or we can make use of set function. Dictionary, again, flower brackets, but it comes with key value pairs. And here we can see we have only key value pair. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's try to create list, tuple, set, and dictionary in Spider. Okay, let me share our console. Yeah, yesterday, I think we have discussed with respect to the Spider, right? So how do we define a list? So I'll say lst is equals to, I'm going to make use of what? Square brackets. And I can say a comma 10 comma 30 comma 50. Right. So this is defining a list. Again, it is giving error. Why? Because this A is undefined. As this is a string, put it in the bracket. Okay. Now execute this. All right. So here you can see A has been executed. And what is the type of this? A is in the form of list. Right. And here also you can see index number 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. I want to access this 50. Right. So how I can say? I'll just say LSD. Okay. We will deal with the access later. First, let's complete the creation part. Okay. So we have created a list. Next, what we are going to do? We are going to create tuple. Okay, so I'll say TUP is equals to, how do we create tuple with the help of parenthesis? Okay, and same thing, I'm just going to take maybe B, comma, okay, let's put this B as string, and then I'm going to say comma 30, comma 30, comma 60, comma 90, comma 120. Right. What is this? This is a tuple. Let's execute this. See. It's a tuple. So tuple with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. The type of the data type, see, it is supporting string, it is supporting integer. I can also say 2.0 point this, and I'm going to execute this. And once I see, it will give us the float data type, right? So like this, quickly create our next is set, right? Set, or else I'll say yeah, set. Let's keep it set is equals to, how do we create? With the help of flower brackets. Put in some flower brackets, and I'll just say maybe I'll take let's take string. Okay, let's take string. So I'll say hi, and then I'm going to say maybe 50, 80, and 90. So let's run this. Yeah, we can see set has been created. Okay, set. But here, if you see, is there any index here? Because here you can see index here, but in set we can't see index. Okay, we will talk about that in detail later. But this is because set is unordered collection of data. If you remember the definition. Okay. So now let's quickly go with the dictionary. I'll say DICT is equals to, let's take key value pair. So I'll say maybe take key as name, and value, maybe we can take it as value, let's take it as, or its name we are taking, right? Or let's take age, or we can take anything, right? Let's take A, and I'd say 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. And then this, I'm going to go with the next element. All right. So let's try to see what the error is. Invalid syntax. I'm going to put this entirely in the list. Okay. And I'm going to say comma B. And let's say maybe I'm going to take 5 out of it, 6, comma 7, comma 8, comma 9. Right. And let's take this. B should be in the form of strings. All right. Let's execute this. Here we can see dictionary is of type dictionary. Within this, we have two elements. One is A and the other one is B. All right. So two keys. We have, this is one key value pair and this is another key value pair. Okay. Remember, a dictionary will come always with key and its pair or values. Okay. Key value pair. So A is a key and B is a, all right. So we have seen how do we create list, tuple, and set, right? And dictionary. All right, so let me share the screen. I hope it is visible. So now we have completed of creation of list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Now we will be dealing with the accessing of the elements. Okay. Now, how do we access the elements? So when I'm talking about list, what is list? It is ordered collection of data. And whenever I'm talking about ordered, that means it comes with index values. Tuple, ordered, index value. Set, unordered, no index value. Now, when there is no index value, we cannot access the elements individually directly. Right. And then we have dictionary. Okay, this is also unordered, but here we have key value pairs. Right. And that's the reason why we can access these elements. So that is the reason you cannot have any functions, or we don't have any functions for accessing the elements in the set. Right. So let's quickly have a look into those things. Let me share the screen back to the spider. Right. So first, let's talk about list, right? So let's open this list. I want to access this particular 30 element. All right, so here we can see 30, right? What is the index value for this? 2. So how do I access? I'll just say LST square bracket and just give the index number 2 and execute this. Here you'll be able to see 30, right? So now let's try to modify our list a little bit, okay? So I'm going to say list and I'm going to put a list within a list. Okay, I'm going to take square bracket and I'm going to put maybe 60, 80, and 100. So I've modified our list. Okay, let us execute this. All right. Now here we can see we have a list. Okay. So this is element at present. Again, I can see here. So within this fourth index, that means our fifth element. If I double click it, again there is a list. Right. So the type is list. Inside this, if I go, the type is integer. Right. Now I want to access this 80. Okay. So here, as we can see this 80, right? I want to access this 80. How are we going to access? Right. So let's try to take this. So first tell me, how do I access this entire element? It is index number 4. Let's execute this. Right. So let me execute this. 1 second. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So this is the entire element. Right. Now I want to check what is the number or what is the index of this 80. Right. So how can we check this? Right. So I'm just going to say square bracket. Okay. 1 second. Let's run this out. Here we got it. And then I want to check, I want to get this specifically 80, right? So what is the index? 0, 1, right? Again, let's confirm this. Open this list here. 0, 1. 1 is 80, right? So within this 4, I want 1. And when I execute this, we will be getting the value as 80. Okay, so this is how we can access for list. Same thing goes with our set tuple as well. Okay, so when I say tuple, I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, and I want to access maybe this 120, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to access 120, I have to say 4 and execute this by pressing this I icon. It will execute single line. Okay, so click here, 120. Right, now let's try same thing with our set as well. Okay, so we are trying to access with the help of set. So here, if I try to again take the index number, maybe a 0, because this is 0, right? So I'm trying to take this 0. Okay, and let's try to run this. Set object is not subscriptable. Okay, that means basically in a simple terms, if I put it, we cannot access using index number as there are no index numbers present. Okay, and then finally, when I'm talking about dictionary, I can give the key value pair, right? So as we can see here, we can just give key, or let's try to say dictionary. Let's take this and I'll say dcg dot. Okay, keys, it's a function where I'm just going to execute this. It will give me all the keys. I want values, I can also get values. If I want key value pairs as well, I can say items. If I say items, it will give me the let's say dict dot items. Okay, items. When I execute this, it will give me all the key value elements. Okay, so this is how we can access our elements from advanced data structures. I hope this is clear. Now let's move to the next part where let me share the screen again. We will be dealing with adding and removing of elements. Okay, that means firstly we will be dealing with the adding and then we will go with the removing. Okay, so that means we can add the elements once the list has been created. Why? Because it is mutable in nature. What was mutable? Something which we created, we can modify that. That is our mutable, right? So to add single element, we can use dot append. Okay, so I want to add element at the end. I can just say append and I can give the element. If I want to insert a number at a specific position, because list is an ordered collection of data, correct? So if I want to specifically insert an element at a specific position or an index, we can use dot insert. Right? So I'm not going to go in much detail of all of this, but all these are inbuilt methods or functions which we can perform on list. Right? We will be looking into one or two, and then extend when we want to go with the multiple elements. Right. Then let's talk about set. So set, it is again unordered, so we can make use of add function. Okay. So and we will come to this dictionary as well. First, let's have a look into the list part. Okay. So let's quickly take this. All right. So first, let's take this list itself. Okay. LST. And onto this list, I want to add a new element. So I'm going to say dot, and I can say append. Right? So dot append, and I'll say maybe add, let's say I, right? So this is not present in our list, right? So in our list, yeah, we don't have, right? So where it will add at which position? It will add at the end position. Okay, now we can see here, this has added at the end. What is the data type? It is the string data type. Right. So like this, there are various functions which we can perform, right? So list dot, we can see here, one, let's remove list dot. Right, see here, we have append, we have clear, extend, okay? Extend we have seen, right? So to add multiple elements, right? Then there are various things which we can perform on this, right? And insert, okay, this you can see value, and let's take this. So index number, I want to add it index number 2. What I want to add is, I'll say maybe, what is there at 2? We have 10, right? 30, we have 30, right? So I'll add 35. So I want to add 35 at index 2. Let's execute this. Let's check our list. At our index 2, what we have? 35. Right? So like this, we can perform addition, subtraction, or addition or removing of the elements, not a mathematical addition. Okay, I'm talking about adding the elements and removing of the elements. We can perform these things. Okay. Now let's talk about tuple. Right. So here again, let me just share, go back to the screen. All right. So here you can see there is nothing available in tuple. Right? Why can't we add anything in tuple? Because tuple by nature it is immutable. That means once we have created tuple, we cannot change it. Right. So where do we use tuple? The best example we can say maybe once we have created a data, let's consider university numbers. Okay. Once the data has been finalized, I don't want anybody to manipulate. Right. So I can define it in the tuple. Once it has been done, we cannot add or remove it. Right. So that nobody can manipulate it. All right. So tuple, there are no addition or removing of the elements. Right. And let's see with respect to set. Okay. So let's jump back to our spider, and I'll say set dot add. Okay, we have add function. Yes, add, and I'm going to say add by. Okay, let me execute this. And here in set, we can see by. As we can say that by has not been added in the end, right? Because this should be the last element. But is it added in the end? Right? So tuple, why? Because it is unordered collection of data. It is not going to store in the sequence with which it has been given. All right. So this is our set. Now let's quickly jump back to our presentation again. All right. So here we can see what we can do. We can make use of dictionary. We can give the key which we want to add and then values. Okay. Let's try this out. Let's go back to our spider. So let's take what is the dictionary we are using? Dictionary this. And first, before we do that, let's see. Do we have any C? No. Okay, let's add C here. So I'm going to take C. Okay, and then is equals to, I can give here a list of maybe 50, 80, 90, 100. Okay, let's execute this. All right. And let's go back to our dictionary. Here we can see we have key value pair. This is my key and this is my value. Right. Again, this is actually a list. All right. So this is how we'll be able to create or add into the existing dictionary. Right. Now let's quickly jump back to the presentation and quickly see the removing of the elements. Okay. So this is your assignment. I want you guys to explore how we can remove the elements. Okay. And I've given you the functions. What is this remove X doing? Right. So what it will do, it will remove the last element of the list. Pop, it will remove the index whichever we are mentioning. Right. Whatever the index number I'm going to mention here, right? It is going to remove that. And then we have delete list index. So we need to say delete keyword, and then we need to give the list name, and then we can pass the index. Okay. And then we have clear function, which will just clear out the entire list. Okay. So this is with respect to list. This is the assignment where I want you to explore the different functions and what are all the things we can do by removing those things. Right. And again, for tuple, why there is no removing of the elements? Yes, because tuple is immutable by nature. We cannot add or remove into this. Right, and then we have set. Again, in set we have remove dot value and discard. So it does the same operations. And we have dictionary, pop key, pop item, delete key, delete or clear. Okay. So this you can work on it and submit it as a part of your assignment. All right, now, yeah, that's about our advanced data structures. So remember, these are again a very basic Python codes. When we are going into dive into very much detailed aspects, then we will be learning each and everything in a detailed fashion. So please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more such videos. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.